Spartan Up Podcast. Kevin Paulus, Jackson Bass, and McKaylee Effen with you here for another episode. And man, it's getting busy this time of year. We are in officially the crossover season as fall sports are kind of winding down for some and winter sports starting up. So hope you guys are you well rested, Jackson? You're energized and ready to roll.
Yes, thankfully, because of the Perk Autumn Chai coffee that I had 20 minutes ago, I'm
Nice.
a little bit better. But
Jackson is caffeinated and ready to roll. So
I'm barely caffeinated. I still have a little bit left to finish.
that's like milk with a splash of coffee in it. Who are
You
you
should
kidding?
see the coffees I make at home. They're like almost white. Just a lot of milk. It's like so much milk. Two
Nice.
shots of espresso, a large glass.
yay. But it's crossover. That's
It's time to lock in with all of our energy that we have going into the winter sports. But let's talk about what happened in MBU athletics this week. Let's start with the football game. They won a game 9-7 over Moval. 3 field goals in the game were enough. Ian Zahner with all 3 of those field goals had to be the star of the game as they go to 2-5. So both teams moved the ball relatively well. They combined for over 630 yards of total offense, but not a lot of points in that one, Jackson.
no, it was like you said, it was kind of a slugfest. Went into the second quarter. The first quarter was all Moval possession. Going to the second quarter, Moval scores on that drive. You're kind of sitting there like, oh gosh, like maybe we're not in the good spot. Maybe it's going to be the tell that we've seen where, they score early and then they keep on that lead. But the Spartan defense did a good job. Special teams obviously was the main character in that story where Zoner was able to get, put 3 between the uprights, but all things considered, Lionel Banks having 130 yards was super big.
His biggest game of the year so far by a big margin, actually. Yeah.
And I mean, they talked about it a little bit on the coaches show, which should be released on the name by the end of it. But sorry, the
What are we doing here? What are you doing? McKaylee is holding something up.
I just wanted you to.
The spelling is wrong. Yeah. So you put the graphic out and the spelling is wrong. Who put that out?
No, I'm saying. That is right. I'm just saying don't forget to mention that.
No, of course, we will mention that Ian Zoner did get Hart Player of the Week. Of course, with all those and his long 52-yard field goal being the main point behind that. But, Calvin Griffin was a little banged up this week. And having Lionel Banks, the senior running back, he stepped up. And that was a big part of getting him in the red zone and make those kinds of.
Yeah, 2-5 on the year. They will host Baker. We're back home finally again since for the first time since October 4th. The football team will be at home on Saturday, 1:00, taking on the Baker Wildcats as Baker has kind of turned their season around. It's going to be a tough game for the fellas on Saturday. Let's talk about women's volleyball. 23-5 on the year. They're 14-1. In the Heart of America Conference. 3 wins on the week with the sweep of Stevens. Then they go on the road, 3-1 over Benedictine and 3-2 over Baker on Friday and Saturday, respectively. So they had an 18-set streak snapped in that first set against Benedictine, and then they came back and won 3 in a row. So the girls just continue to roll on towards a probably at least a top 3 finish at the very least in the Heart of America Conference.
Yeah, I mean the girls went out there. I was honestly really shocked. Obviously, we were on that 18 streak. Go down or go up, east west, as long as I have my coordinates together. To Atchison over at Benedictine, and we've seen it all season. These girls don't necessarily come out of the gates. They take a sec to get warm, get out there. And then you saw a little more resiliency. We thought we were going to see a sweep from Baker on Saturday. But
Didn't happen.
no. I mean, me and Tyler Andrews were sitting in here watching that. They're up in the third set, and I make a joke, something like, "Oh, what are you going to do if this goes to 5?" And I had to bite my words quite soon after that.
Still get the win in 5 sets, 3-2 this week. It's William Woods at William Woods on Tuesday, and then a big weekend of women's volleyball this Friday and Saturday with Mid-America Nazarene. That's another team that the Spartans are tied with at the top of, well, technically in second place in the Heart of America Conference, and then the Park Pirates will be here. That's a 7 o'clock first serve on Saturday night, as that game was moved a little bit later due to the football game in the afternoon. So good luck to the girls this week against William Woods, Mid-America Nazarene, and Park. Should we hear from McKaylee at some point on this podcast? It's just been you and me, so I'll kind of throw it to McKaylee. This is your time to shine, or try to anyway, McKaylee. Men's soccer, as they get a big win over number 8 William Penn on Saturday, and you were there to live it right with them.
Yeah, I mean, playing number 8, obviously that's going to be tough, but if you guys were watching, there was a ton of fouls. There was 49 fouls total.
Yeah, it was
there
rough.
was 8 yellow cards, 2 red cards. It was intense. It was a back-to-back matchup. I mean, Matthew O'Reilly only waited about 5 minutes until he was able to get a goal off. Then William Penn was able to score into the second half, but then Adele Smilovich, who also earned Offensive Player of the Week for the Heart, he was able to get that last goal, the game winner, which was, of course, electric for MBU altogether. But yeah, I mean, Matthew O'Reilly, Adele Smilovich, Evan Bash, he was able to make a big impact. He also got Defensive Player of the Week for the Heart. So altogether, I mean, they're really thriving, at least off this last game. And now, on to this week, they play Receiving Votes Missouri Valley College tomorrow at 7:30. And then they also play number 2 Mid-America Nazarene on Saturday. So that's going to be some tough matchups coming up. But I think altogether they're ready to go, and they're just going to try to control what they can control.
5-7-3 overall, 4-5-2 in the Heart of America, tied for 8th place in the Heart, and only the top 8 will make the postseason. And we'll have a chance to talk with Jake Alvernia about that in just a couple of minutes. He'll be our special guest here on the Spartan Up Podcast. So good luck to the boys, as you said, taking on Moval and Mid-America Naz this week. On the women's side, McKaylee, 5-8-3 overall, 5-4-2 in the Heart of America. They currently sit in 6th place, and they also got a win this week.
Yep, so they were able to get a sweep for the soccer program. I mean, Emma Seltzer was able to get that first goal,
Which, by the way, it's good to have her back, by the way.
Yes,
She's
for
been out.
sure.
Yeah.
I know, and she's like already making an impact off of a broken foot, which is insane. I could not do that. But that was assisted by Ellie Malish, which is cool because it was their senior day. So that was like senior to senior. Casey Watson, I don't think she's a senior. Is she?
She is, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, she was also able to goal, also able to get a goal. So good for them that all the seniors were able to participate and make a difference on the field there.
Yeah, absolutely. They get a win, and of course, their schedule, same as the men, only Moval's number 5 in the country on the women's side, so that'll be a tough one tomorrow night in Marshall. Marshall? Yeah, Marshall. That's where Moval is. And then Mid-America Nazarene in Olathe, Kansas on Saturday. Still trying to hold down that number 6 spot in the Heart of America and qualify for the conference tournament in their first year. So let's move on to, do you know anything about wrestling? You want to talk about men's wrestling there, Jackson?
I mean, man, did we see a very dominant performance by the men's wrestling squad in their opening duel of the season against York, Nebraska? The Spartans went in there. They knew that it was going to be a good tune-up because they knew St. Ambrose was not going to be an easy match. I will say something that definitely shocked me is those were a lot of closer matches. Yeah, most of them were decision wins. If it wasn't a forfeit, I think Blake Johnson was the sole bonus point victory person in that first duel. And then the second duel, I mean, Ambrose, They were protecting the home turf in Davenport.
Sure.
They took out there, they rallied off 3 wins in the first 3 weights. Well, I say that I had to get I didn't get any clarification as to whether or not they started at 141 because, of course, when you go through duels, you may rotate, but
Because wrestling does weird stuff. They just start wherever they feel like it.
wrestlers are so weird.
So, but yeah, that second duel, 23-16 loss against St. Ambrose. But at the same time, Caleb McElfresh, not the head coach, didn't have his full roster, really. Like, went into both of those matches actually with, in some cases, second, third, maybe even fourth string guys were actually healthy.
Yeah, no, it was cool to see somebody. The person that came to mind, obviously, is the longtime member of this wrestling team, Corey Bretzer. That was probably the coolest thing for me. Obviously, Kylan Bingham went out there, received a forfeit at 25. Everybody else kind of filled in their spots in the lineup. But like you said, we did see a little more of the depth. And that's a big, compliment to Coach McElfresh and the ability to not only recruit, because, that roster, if you guys ever go on the website, which, I think it's a pretty good roster. I did do it myself. Almost, rallies near 60 guys. But he's not just bringing in 60 guys, he's bringing in 60 quality individuals.
Right. And so season obviously just got underway for men's wrestling. They will be at the Falcon Open hosted by Friends University. And the big thing about that is it's interesting how the wrestling season starts because obviously, you started at St. Ambrose in Davenport, but then you go to Friends in Wichita, which is the same place that the national tournament takes care. So you start the season and hopefully end the season at the same place.
I think that's one of the coolest
I
things. So
super cool.
When I wrestled in college, so spoiler alert, I wrestled in college. When I wrestled in college,
You're like a 157 or something for college.
times 2 maybe. There's like 2 really, really big tournaments to start the season, and it's usually the Falcon Open and then the Patriot Open that's hosted by the University of Cumberland's over at Corbin, Kentucky. And that's also a very big arena, the Corbin Arena. Almost kind of mimics Hartman. I kind of like it, but it's Uport when the Falcon Open is hosted literally in the place you're going to wrestle. And it's going to be an electrifying event.
Yep.
We're going to see a lot of ranked matchups early. And this is where the opportunity for this team to take advantage and get into the ranks, slide up even higher. And, we've got 4 guys. I mean, if you go out there, you have a good performance, we could see 6 or 7 guys in that bowl.
Right. And I know we're talking a lot of men's wrestling, but the cool thing about that as well is it's an open as well. So, you're not just bringing 12 guys. You can bring, I think he's got 52 on the roster. I don't know how many he's bringing, but enter them all and, you're not held back by the guy that's in front of you. You're just wrestling the guy that's in front of you, literally, and just go as long as you can. So Falcon Open this weekend in Wichita for men's wrestling. The other sport that we want to talk about that we haven't yet is men's and women's lacrosse. They participated in the NAIA Great Lakes Challenge. Results weren't great, let's be honest. 22nd out of 23 on the men's side and 21st out of 22 on the women's side. Didn't really have their full complement of their top runners, but also probably underperformed a little bit in this one.
Yeah, and I totally want to tell you that you said men's and women's lacrosse.
Wow.
Country.
Andrew stared me in the eye. So I don't know what you...
That would be cross country, not lacrosse.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I said lacrosse country.
I don't think you did, but it's okay. We'll move on from that.
My fault. We'll
But
just
yeah,
we'll edit that out or something. Can you edit that out? No. Okay. All right. That's fine.
Keep it
Yeah.
in there.
Cross country, men's and women's, 22nd out of 23 on the men's side, 21st out of 22 on the women's side. So
That's all right. We'll get them next time.
It's a much different result than we have seen. Obviously, we're not seeing all of our starters quite in right now. And the men's side has been struggling, but they went up there, and it's a lot of really tough competition in the end.
do you think that people are actually still listening to this podcast? Like, we're on hour number 32 of all these sports and crossover season. You think people are listening? Should we have like a code word? Like, we'll give out a word, and if you are still listening, you gotta like tell it,
If you
Probably
had
not.
made it to this part,
Congratulations. Keep going.
yeah, comment something nice on this podcast.
You know what? Am I allowed to incentivize? Am I allowed to say if you remember this code word and you can say it, like I'll give you a $10 Subway gift card?
Yeah, as long as you have $10 gift cards in case.
That's not like I'm not gonna get red.
No, it's not gambling.
So,
Okay.
am I allowed to listen this?
No. No. All right, guys. Here it is.
Oh boy. Don't do it. Don't do it because people will be like, "Hey, you said I could have a gift card."
I'd be sharing this multiple times on
Yeah,
every platform.
He's listening.
Yeah.
So here's what's up for the rest of this week. Men's and women's golf taking part in the Eagle Knoll Open, which is hosted by William Woods. That is today and tomorrow. They are playing as we speak. And men's and women's basketball starts this week. That's exciting. First, we'll talk about bowling, though. Saturday and Sunday, they'll make the long journey to St. Charles, Missouri to take part in the Lions Classic at St. Charles Lanes. Men's basketball. Well, actually, let's do women's first because it happens first. Tomorrow, they're going to be at Williams Baptist, and then on Friday, they go to Kansas City to take on UMKC. So, looking forward to that, are we not?
I think those are going to be some tough matchups. I don't know what you think, Kevin.
They'll be tough. I mean, Williams Baptist is, I think, probably either number 1 or number 2 in the AMC preseason poll. Of course, Columbia is usually in the mix as well. So that's going to be a tough one. And then you go to UMKC on Friday. But you see what you got, 2 non-conference games to start the year, and Coach Jacobson, all the new girls that she brought in, we get to start to see what they look like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that to get going. But I was supposed to be on the team, guys. I really was supposed
Well,
to.
you didn't try out. You got to sign the waiver. You got to get out. 1 week it's wrestling with you, Michaela, and then the next week you want to try out for basketball. And
I don't want to keep sitting here. I need to start working out. I need to.
you don't want to spend time with us, is what you're saying. You'd
No.
rather be.
You guys can be on the team too.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. I don't.
But yeah, what do we got going for men's basketball?
And then men's basketball, they make the long journey over to Maryville, where they will host UHSP. That's going to happen on Saturday. And so men's basketball gets underway as well. And we are fully right in the middle of crossover season. The only one that we're missing right now is women's wrestling. They won't start until next week. So we'll talk about that next week. Anything else? Anything else we need to talk about as far as... No?
I mean,
All
we
right.
could keep yapping if you want to.
Yeah, I'm sure both of our listeners would love that. But let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk it over with Jake Alvernia, who's in his 14th year as the head coach of MBU men's soccer. We do that in just a moment on the Spartan Up Podcast. And we're back on the Spartan Up Podcast, now joined by men's head soccer coach Jake Alvernia. Jake, thanks for being with us again.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about the season. You guys are 5-7-3 overall, 4-5-2 in the Heart of America, kind of right in the thick of it right now for a postseason berth.
Yeah, I mean, there's still that's a lot of games to be played. There's 1 or 2.
There's
on
2.
what team you are, I mean, some have 1 left, but I mean, I'm speechless. This conference is just
That's not good for a podcast, Jake.
You can't predict what's going on in this conference this year. I mean, top to bottom, you've got Graceland and who's down to bottom. They're a quality team. We felt them. We played them, of course, and they're a good team. And Culver, they're everyone's getting results against everyone, and it's hard to predict. Really, honestly, it's a proper battle for sure.
Yeah, and of course, the big thing that everybody's talking about is your win over the number 8 ranked team in the country, William Penn. A couple of goals scored by O'Reilly and Adele Smolovich, and man, that was just a crazy night.
What's weird about it is literally 30 seconds, maybe I'll say a minute before we scored that goal. Ridley turned to me and he said, Jake, we're gonna score another one. And I said, from your lips to God's ears. And literally within a minute of saying that, it happened. I mean, it's yeah, what a play. I mean, you know, I don't know how to say this in the right way, but unfortunately, we had guys on the bench. I mean, just the emotions took over. Guys went and celebrated, and then our assistant got the second yellow, and of course, so now he'll have to suffer. But it was one of those things. As soon as the ball went in, I went from excitement to my peripheral vision, like trying to get a hold of my players and keeping them around the bench, and it was a bit chaotic. But I thought we matched up well against William Penn in terms of their style of play, and I thought it could suit us. But yeah, I mean, now we've got Moval and MNU next, and it's we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, talk a little bit about Adele. I mean, he's had a very large impact on your team so far, and this week he earned the Offensive Player of the Week for the Heart, as well as Evan Bash. So yeah, talk a little bit about the impact that they have on your team.
He's been brilliant. If even going back to, I know there was a stretch of games where he wasn't starting because we felt like, him and Maddie are virtually similar type players. So one of them had to be in the 10. So you choose who you think on the week is giving us, the best chance leading up to a game. But he came on against, I think it was Baker, and scored a fantastic goal against Baker.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And he's a good player, and like his energy's been really good lately. And of course he's a quality player. So I'm happy to see, obviously we're happy to see him score that goal for sure, because that was a big 3 points for us. But just to see a freshman come in and give that, it's an adjustment, especially being in the Heart. It's a big adjustment. And I think that's the one thing you see with this team in general, is because we're such a young team starting 5, 6 freshmen. There's a learning curve. Even with good players, there's a learning curve at the NAIA level, at the Heart level for sure. And so, but seeing him have success, I mean, that's a good sign for us for sure.
We could probably talk for an hour or two about all the individual players on your team and the contributions that they've made, but I want to ask about a couple.
Yeah.
Keegan Ranney and Anthony Capitelli. And I'm going to ask about them. Capitelli obviously leading you with 5 goals on the year, but these were not necessarily role players, but bench players, coming in, giving you some strength off the bench type thing. A year ago, the personnel almost completely, turns over year to year. And now these guys are leading you offensively. That's pretty impressive what they've been able to do year to year in their growth.
Yeah, in fact, we were just having this discussion as a coaching staff about Keegan just the other day. I mean, I think if this was his first year with me, maybe he's not in the same situation where he's having as big of an impact. But, he got to play. I mean, you talk about last year, you in the pecking order, if you think about it, Marco was the clear number 1. Then you had Eddie coming off the bench,
Right,
and you had Keegan coming off the bench. So, our leading man was our third striker last year. And, he's a quality, first of all, he's a quality guy for sure. But, his play has really improved. His hold-up play has really improved. How he combines, is really improved. And, he has a knack for goal. And yeah, he's been big for us. And it has been a little surprising in a way, but also not surprising because we see him, day in, day out, and competing in a training session as well. Sure. Good.
Yeah, so as we before we hopped on, we were talking a little bit about scenarios with postseason play, and who's got to lose to who's got to win here. We might end up in a 3-way tie to maybe reach playoff berth, but with all that noise going on, what is kind of the one thing that you're like echoing to your players?
Well, right now, the control is still in our hands, really, if you think about it. If we win against Moval, and that's a big if, but, because they're a quality side. But, we've got quality that can punish them as well. And, we've shown that all year and against bigger teams. But that would be a massive 3 points for us. And so we went into, for example, the William Penn. We don't like to lose at home. And that's always, but it was also senior night, and it was the last time some of our seniors will ever play a game on Spartan Field because there's not a shot we'll host mathematically, I think. So that was a big emphasis. And so now we'll emphasize where we're at with Moval. And this is a big opportunity between these two teams. One of us will emerge, unless there's a draw. One of us will emerge.
There's just that in soccer.
There is that. But one of us will emerge is maybe the lead-in favorite to round it out, whether it's 8th or 7th,
Do you ever get a little emotional on senior day?
I do. Especially this senior night was different than any other senior night because of the situation we're in the Heart, where normally we can expect to host a quarterfinal at minimum. To looking at the guys saying this is, like it hit Maddie when I said that in the locker room pregame, like this is the last time you're going to play a match at Spartan. And so, yeah, a little bit, I think I get more emotional with seniors is whatever that last game is, whether it's at MNU or whether we make the playoffs and, however that goes, that's usually where, I've take a little bit more of a pause with our seniors and just kind of understand now their transition in life is to go on and kick on and raise a family, get a full-time job or do all those quote unquote big boy things,
Yeah. That's definitely the hardest thing for me. I mean, now that I'm graduated and don't play lacrosse anymore, it makes me a little sad. Even watching other sports in senior days, I'm like, man, that was me last year. I'm tearing up a little bit, but overall, yeah, I mean, your seniors have had a big impact on your program.
And you probably don't, and you'd probably say this, I'm guessing, but you don't realize how quick it goes. And, when you come in as a freshman, you talk about Adele or any of these freshmen, really, it's really hard to think about what that senior day for yourself is going to look like when it's 3-4 years away. But when you're a game or two from it, and you see guys with their last, not necessarily on our senior night, but whatever our last game is, when you see the guys crying and, you're emotional and they're emotional, it's like, yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah. I got goosebumps just thinking about that. Makes me sad.
Yeah. So let's bring it back around to this week as we start to wrap up. Moval tomorrow. I know soccer is a very, tactical game. What type of match are we looking for there? And then look forward to the, Benedictine and Moval is who you're tied with. But you play Moval and then Mid-America Naz on Saturday. So tactically, what kind of match are we looking for here?
Two different games from the last one. I mean, William Penn's more direct. They like to play in the opponent's half, and so you kind of prepare for that. Moval's absolutely the opposite of that. They're on the ball. They want to be on the ball. They're going to run you around a bit, and so you either have to get the pressing right to make things difficult, or you have to kind of sit in and absorb it a little bit and maybe try and go on the break. So we're going to be assessing our options and how we want to play. And at the end of the day, we want to come out and play how we play, but you do have to consider what the other team does well and make those adjustments. Yeah.
So is there, last question for me anyway, I don't know if you guys have more questions, but as far as Moval, let's say, and I hate to get into hypotheticals, but
Yeah.
It's late in the game tomorrow, you're tied 1-1, tied 2-2. How hard are you pushing to get those 3 points instead of 1, knowing that this is all head to head? Does that enter into your mind at all? Like, we really can't we got to push for a win in this, but you also don't want to take the risk and end up giving up a goal too. So,
And that would be the worst scenario.
right.
Because if a draw would level us with Mount Mercy, we had the tiebreaker on Mount
Okay,
Mercy.
gotcha.
So we actually would do okay with a draw. The more difficult scenario comes into play in terms of if we were to draw against Moval, then you have to go to MNU and beat MNU. Benny goes to William Woods, and I forget where Moval goes or what their scenario is.
Yeah,
but yeah, then it's it's
Gets
a
dicey.
lot more up in the air at that point. A win is the most ideal. Yeah, we could paint a picture. Draw wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. So I would, it depends on, and really to maybe just bring it home on your question, it would really depend on the game. I mean, are we suffering against Moval to where we don't want to expose ourselves and the draw would suit us?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we have more of the game and we want to try and, exploit that and maybe not let a negative mindset come into the team where we keep pressing for the next one. And so, yeah, it's hard to say, and honestly, Kevin, I mean, you go into every game with a game plan,
Mm-hmm.
and as soon as the ball rolls,
It
everything
changes.
can change. Yeah, it really can, honestly.
All right. Well, we will be watching. We wish you the best of luck this week, and let's get a couple wins.
Yeah, hopefully.
Absolutely. It's Jake Alvernia. He's the men's soccer coach here at Missouri Baptist. We'll be back to wrap things up on the Spartan Up Podcast in a minute. We are back, final segment of the Spartan Up Podcast, and as always, we will go around the table and talk about what we are most excited by this week regarding MBU athletics, and we'll go with Jackson first.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I love going first. I would have to say that the thing I'm definitely most excited about this week is happening at 3 p.m. Friday afternoon when women's volleyball hosts the only other person in the conference. Well, that's the only other person. They'd be Grandview. So we're really fighting for this number 2 spot come Friday, and it's going to be packed. And then, yeah, I'm excited for that.
Mid-American Nazarene. He didn't say the opponent, but we do play Mid-American Nazarene, and then obviously both of us are trying to keep pace with the grand views of the world. So 3 o'clock, and why 3 o'clock, you say? Well, because it's Halloween, and crazy things happen on Halloween. So we want to get the game over with, the match over with early so that people can go have fun. So that's on Friday.
Are you going trick-or-treating?
I will not. I'll be scaring all the children that come to my house and hand out candy. So.
Oh, you scare them before they knock?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
As they knock on the door?
Am I not an intimidating person? And then,
You are, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So what are you most excited about?
I'm excited for women's basketball to get going, of course, and men's soccer. I mean, these are the final 2 games.
You ever notice every week she's like, I'm most excited about these 5 things.
Guys,
just pick one.
Well, okay. I have a hard time. I can't decide. I was going to say men's soccer again, but I just feel like I always say what I say. Then I talk about other things too.
You're only picking your sports.
Okay.
She is.
Because, that's the ones I'm excited for.
All right. So just pick one and talk all about why you're excited about it.
Okay.
We're on podcast number 7. I
am most excited for women's basketball. I'll just choose that. Women's basketball because they're finally getting going, I want to see what they have in their tank, and they have a ton of new people on the team and some key returners. So I'm just excited to see the chemistry that they build or chemistry that they already have built. Like, who knows what they have in the tank.
Awesome. Men's basketball for me, obviously. UHSP, hopefully, no offense to the Eutectics, but hopefully not a stiff test anyway against UHSP, but we get to actually see. I know Taylor Jarvis, very excited about the recruiting class that he brought in and what he's got coming back. So he's I can't wait to see them on Saturday when they play UHSP over at Maryville and hopefully get the season off to a good start as well. So
I just want to update everybody on my coffee. There is a gnat in my coffee because I've waited so long to finish this coffee.
And this podcast, for that matter.
So, matter of fact, Kevin, why don't you wrap this up?
I will. Unless Jackson looks either in pain or
I think
gassy or something. I don't know.
Jackson, you want the rest of this?
No, I'm quite okay.
Good on that.
I wish this was a video podcast so I could show you guys this and that.
I thought about that earlier because we did the interview with Justin Hoagland. You were out getting married or I don't know, something. And we did the interview with Justin, and he was talking about his singing career. And Jackson's face was like, I was like, we need a camera like on Jackson because you're so like expressive and blown away by things. So
I think it was the most amazing thing I've ever been to you.
You really like falsetto.
nice. Who's that?
Ass.
I don't know. I'm really excited to hear about this tank that Williams basketball's got up there.
Wow.
Talking about this tank.
All right, I feel like we are on a massive run on sentence. So, Kevin?
McKaylee's going to be like, just wrap it up. That's going to do it for the Spartan Up Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell anyone to tune in. Weekly, Mondays, Tuesdays, whenever we feel like it, we'll record the Spartan Up Podcast. Glad you're with us, and we'll talk to you next week.